So to answer the question in this video, are people doubting Max Holloway? Absolutely, he can absolutely win this fight with the right game plan. My prediction for this fight is, ever since this fight got announced, I've been hearing Max Holloway can't win. Everybody is doubting Max Holloway, and there's a lot of reasons why, and I want to get into it in this video. Does Max Holloway stand a chance, right? Is Justin Gaethje just the obvious favorite? Is he going to win with his past performances? Or are people doubting Max Holloway? I want to get into it. And before we get into it, I want to remind you guys to subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Guys, we're almost at 12K. You guys have been killing it with the support. UFC 300 breakdowns this whole week, and I want to thank the sponsor of this video, betting.bet. Guys, UFC 300 is this weekend. This is going to be a big betting opportunity for all of you guys. Tons of fights. I mean, every fight on this card is a superstar level fight. So you guys can go to betting.bet to see the best parlays, best betting lines, best betting sites, and everything like that. Go click the link in the description because they support us, and soon enough you guys will be able to see my picks on their website. So make sure to click that in the link in the description. And once again, thank you, betting.bet. And without further ado, let's just get into this. Okay, guys, UFC 300 is this weekend. I already made a video talking about Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill, and I gave you guys who I thought was going to win. I plan on doing a video predicting all of UFC 300. Let me know what fight you guys want me to focus on specifically, and maybe I'll make a separate video for that too. And obviously, I think this was the first big fight that got all of us excited for UFC 300, because if you guys remember, before this fight got announced, I think everybody was getting a little hesitant on UFC 300, like what fights were going to be on there. And yeah, this fight is an epic addition to the card. Yeah, if you guys remember, the BMF title was originally created in 2019 and then brought back last year for Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje at that point had won against Rafael Fiziev, and Dustin Poirier was coming off of a win against Michael Chandler. And yeah, those two fought. You know, it was supposed to be a banger fight, and yeah, it was a good fight for as long as it lasted, because we saw Justin Gaethje knock out Dustin Poirier, finish him in that second round with a big head kick. What was next for Justin Gaethje? I mean, there was a lot of question marks. Is that a rematch with Charles Oliveira? Is it a fight with Islam Makhachev? There was so much talk about what's next for Justin, and I don't think a lot of people guessed this. Max Holloway is going to fight Justin Gaethje for that BMF title, and honestly, I think there are some serious title implications on the line. Max Holloway is a legend. The guy has won the featherweight title before. I think he is a really good stylistic matchup against Ilia Topuria, and the guy has been in this organization for over 10 years. I mean, the guy's had so many good performances, so many good fights. He is a legend of his own, and I think everybody just likes Max Holloway. I mean, how could you not? And he's on a 2-fight win streak in the featherweight division. If you guys recall, he lost to Volkanovski dominantly, returned against Arnold Allen and beat him in a pretty close fight, and then knocked out the Korean Zombie back in August. And he is here. I mean, this seems like the obvious move. Go to lightweight, and if you guys recall, I've always said this was the fight that they should make. Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. It's a fun fight. It's the fans' fight. If you are a fan of the UFC, if you're a fan of MMA, I don't even need to explain how this fight is going to be amazing. But as I was saying in the beginning of this video, as soon as this fight got announced, I felt like everyone was already planning Max Holloway's funeral. Like, seriously, the fight wasn't even a month away at that point, and people were already thinking that Max Holloway was going to be dead. And yeah, it is tough for Max Holloway, and for a lot of reasons. Max Holloway is moving up in weight. Justin Gaethje has looked very good in his last performance. He's a guy that has brutal leg kicks, something that Volkanovski used very well against Max Holloway. And I think a lot of people think that this fight is going to be a knockout, but I'm not so sure about that, guys. I want to break down their strengths, their weaknesses, and how I think this fight is going to play out. Let's start with Max Holloway, guys. As you guys know, Max Holloway, I mean, I think his biggest strength, I think everyone could agree, is his cardio, his volume. I mean, in that Calvin Kattar fight, the amount that he threw is actually unbelievable, setting records. And the thing about Max Holloway is he's mostly a boxer, and so is Justin Gaethje to a certain extent. He has been mixing in kicks, especially leg kicks, which we're going to get into. But he has very good boxing, right? And most of all, I think he has a really good chin. I think most people agree. I mean, look, I've said before, anybody can get knocked out. You know, it doesn't matter who. Max Holloway, I honestly don't know. Can this guy get knocked out? Because this guy has eaten so many shots and hasn't even gotten knocked down. He says he hasn't even gotten knocked down in sparring. And we're talking about this guy fighting for probably over 20 years at this point, even if it wasn't professionally. The fact that this guy has never even got knocked down, let alone knocked out, yeah, that's super impressive. And you can't say the same about Justin Gaethje. Obviously, he has taken a lot of damage. I want to get into that when we get into Justin Gaethje. But I think when you're looking at Max Holloway, you're going to be honest, I think the obvious thing in the room, and which is why I think a lot of people are already planning this funeral for Max Holloway, it's the lack of power, right? Let's be honest, guys. He doesn't have a lot of knockouts. I know he's coming off of a knockout against the Korean Zombie, but let's be honest, the Korean Zombie was kind of old at that point. That was his retirement fight. And the Korean Zombie kind of just was like, hey, fuck it. I got to go for it. I got to try to win this fight, and just pushed forward in that third round. And yeah, Max Holloway would just landed a big right hand. But outside of that, I mean, we haven't really seen him knock out smaller guys, let alone going up a weight class against a guy, Justin Gaethje, who also has a good chin. And I do know that Max Holloway is bulking up, right? If you guys don't know, Max Holloway said he's known about this opportunity since, I think, the end of last year. So he has been bulking up properly, not like he did in that Dustin Poirier fight. But is it enough? I don't know. We're going to get get into that in a second. But let's talk about Justin Gaethje, because yeah, Justin Gaethje, look, I'm talking about Max Holloway, all this and that. Let's not ignore Justin Gaethje. He is still very good. Justin Gaethje looked terrible in that Charles Oliveira fight. Let's be honest. I think it was one of the worst things to happen in his career. I mean, I don't know if you guys recall, but at the time, I felt like everybody was acting like this guy was nothing. Even me to a certain extent. Like, I think everybody kind of collectively forgot how good Justin Gaethje is. Like, even if you check out my prediction video breaking down Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev back in March of 2023, yeah, even I think I was doubting Justin Gaethje. I predicted he was going to get knocked out in that fight. Obviously, it's not what happened, and my point is, though, is that everybody was forgetting, and now Justin Gaethje is in an opposite point where everybody is treating him with the respect. I mean, knocking out Poirier obviously was very impressive. I feel like he's fixed a lot of his issues with fighting backwards. We saw in the Dustin Poirier fight, he was fighting mostly backwards, and he was able to get a knockout that way. He is definitely improving. It used to be a situation where if you push Justin Gaethje backwards, he would be gassed. You could see that in the Oliveira fight. You could see it in the Khabib fight. You could arguably even see it in the first Dustin Poirier fight. And I think he's fixed that issue a lot, and plus the fact that he has power and those devastating leg kicks, which are going to be open. Max Holloway is a boxer, right? As I said before, he has more of a boxing style, heavy on the lead leg. He's going to get his leg kicked a lot. We saw Volkanovski able to land it in both their fights, and I think we're going to see that here too, and it doesn't take a lot from Justin Gaethje. It was like 2 leg kicks against Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier was already trying to switch stances. But Justin Gaethje has had some weaknesses, let's be honest. One thing that I don't think gets talked about enough is his defense. I mean, sometimes his defense is a little bit questionable. He gets away with it because, yeah, at the end of the day, it's really hard to hit somebody anyway, especially at a professional level, especially with someone that probably has the reflexes of Justin Gaethje. But his defense isn't technical. I mean, sometimes when someone's throwing a kick, he just leans down. Someone like Max Holloway could totally take advantage of it. I mean, Dustin Poirier was trying to set up a knee in that whole fight. Obviously, he got knocked out before anything could land, but his coaches were trying to tell him to land a knee. And yeah, Justin Gaethje would have been open for that, and he could have been really hurt by a knee. And my point is that there's just holes in his game like that he can get away with because of his reflexes. But if Max Holloway is going to set up a shot, like trying to fake a kick and make it a knee, yeah, that kind of stuff is going to not only hurt Justin Gaethje, but probably knock him out because he isn't going to be expecting it coming. And another thing I want to talk about is Justin Gaethje. I mean, he has received a lot of damage in his career already. You know, he got knocked down by Oliveira. He went through wars with Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Went through a war with Michael Chandler as well. Got knocked out multiple times in his career. I mean, look, at the end of the day, Justin Gaethje hasn't been in the UFC for necessarily so long. Like, he hasn't been in the UFC for like 10 years like Max Holloway, but he's received a lot of damage, and so has Max Holloway. Just that Max Holloway hasn't really gotten knocked down, and that's impressive. Not to say that obviously Max Holloway has taken a lot of damage too, and honestly, he will probably get knocked out at some point in his career unless he retires early. And yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think the game plan for Max Holloway is to push forward with the volume. Kind of like what he did with Aldo. He pressured Aldo, made Aldo swing and miss, and then Max Holloway would come back with some counter, and it gassed Aldo quick. I mean, he finished him in the 3rd round in both of those fights. We saw Justin Gaethje in the Oliveira fight. You know, when he felt like he was getting pressured, he was swinging hard. Remember, he was so off balance with that left hook he threw. And Max has some good body shots, right? I think if he rips the body of Gaethje, we've seen Justin Gaethje hurt by body shots by Eddie Alvarez before. The body shots are open, and that could slow down Gaethje in the fight. And Max Holloway, I think that is the best game plan, and it is totally reasonable. So to answer the question in this video, are people doubting Max Holloway? Absolutely. He can absolutely win this fight with the right game plan. And Justin Gaethje can too. I think he has to go a little bit more forward, be a little bit more aggressive than he's been, be very calculated, be very patient like he was in the Tony Ferguson fight. And he's got to be careful because Holloway will be able to go for 25 minutes. I mean, I think Max Holloway could probably fight for a whole hour, but can Justin Gaethje? We saw Justin Gaethje have good cardio against Tony Ferguson, but that was a fight that he was controlling the whole time. Guys, I'm going to tell you guys my prediction right now. My prediction for this fight is Max Holloway. I don't know, guys, man. I was going back and forth. I thought I would pick Gaethje. I'm picking Holloway, guys. I think that Holloway, at the end of the day, I think you guys are underrating him. He has fought the best of the best throughout his career. I mean, the guy's had 32 fights at this point. He has fought so many times, and yes, I get it that, yes, there was a 10-pound difference, and he was fighting featherweight, and yeah, they're probably going to hit a lot lighter, but let's not pretend he hasn't gone up to lightweight. He has fought Dustin Poirier before, and I think Justin Gaethje has been fighting backwards way too much lately. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, I do think he's gotten better fighting backwards, but I still think that's something that can be exploited, and I think that it's going to let Max Holloway go forward, land his shots. I think we're going to see Justin Gaethje try to land some shots, maybe have some success early, but I think we're going to see Max Holloway add up the volume, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a late TKO, but I'm going to go Max Holloway decision, 49-46 or 48-47. Let me know what your prediction for the fight is in the comment section below. And before we wrap up, as always, we're going to look at the top comments from the last video. If you guys missed it, I broke down Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. Let's look at some of the top comments in that video. I do believe Jamal Hill has what it takes. However, that injury mixed with Alex's calf kick will be a huge factor. Rooting for Jamal Hill. And yeah, that injury is something not to joke around about. We've talked about that on the channel since the fight got announced. I have told you guys time and time again, I kind of get the vibe that Jamal Hill might need a few extra weeks of recovery and probably should have took a fight in May or even June. And he took this fight because, number one, this is a huge opportunity, main eventing UFC 300. This is a historical card. And two, probably the money was very good. I mean, they obviously were not happy with the options they had. They probably gave them a lot more money to make this fight happen, especially on that short of a notice. I know it wasn't super short notice, but still, it was about less than 2 months. And the calf kicks, I mean, I talk about all this in the video, so guys, go check that out right now. But it's definitely gonna play a huge factor. Back, brother love, but I think you're growing up on us. Or did you get slimmer a bit? Looking good, brother. I like how I just add this comment just to dick ride myself, basically. But I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the love, guys. I don't know what I did to deserve the love. And yeah, I feel like I am getting slimmer a bit, guys. So please, I appreciate all the nice words. You guys used to bully me in the past, but now we made it, I think. Dude, you talk at 2 times speed? Wow. Honestly, yeah, this comment just made me laugh when I read it. I was like, what? I mean, do you guys think I talk too fast? Like, maybe it's a New York thing. I know people say New Yorkers, maybe they talk fast. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Do I talk too? Maybe I do now. I'm kind of noticing. Maybe I do talk a little too fast. Maybe I'll slow it down a bit. Hey, I'm just trying to give you guys the information quickly, not trying to waste any of your time. But guys, the video I'm referring to is on the screen right now. Go check that out for UFC 300. Once again, guys, thank you betting.bet, all those people there. Go check out the website. It's really cool. Thank you for supporting the channel. Make sure to hit the link in the description. Also join our Discord. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best fan base in MMA, and I'll see you guys in the next one.